Good morning and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Monday edition of the Mark Moses Show post Rockville weekend. And we have a perfect gentleman to discuss and recap all things Rockville. Yes, my good friend Chase Bunker. We're going to get to him in a second. But first, as always, we are broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Also want to give a shout out to Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne, where friends meet. I know yesterday they had live music for Sunday Fun Day. Don't forget they're open 7 days a week. Karaoke coming up on Tuesday. And Walk On Sports Bistro in Vieira, home of the $5 Tito's and $4 22-ounce Busch Lights all day, every day at Walk On Sports Bistro. Yes. Let's get to this guy now. He was there multiple days in Daytona. I don't know how he's alive today. He is radio reporter, anchor, and superstar Chase Bunker. How you doing today, buddy?
To answer your question, I don't know how I'm alive either, but I've also been saying that for the past 36 years. So, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, there's the point where I thought, I don't think I'm going to make it to graduation. And then sure enough, I made it to graduation. Now I'm like 36. I'm like, how did I get here? And this isn't like a horrible, depressing thought. It's just like, I never thought that ahead in my future. So I don't know how I'm here at 36.
Well, you're here. You're here on Monday. You are. Yeah. All right. I want our listeners to know this and our viewers. Chase is the key demographic for Rockville. The key, like if they went to AI and they're like, make us who's going to Rockville, Chase might not have as many tattoos as I saw over the last couple of days, but he is the key demo because you know all the old bands, you know the new bands, you get excited, you plan this out. Do you feel like you're the key demographic for Rockville?
Oh, this year I definitely think I was, considering how many of the older bands that were there. Evans Blue was there, Smile Empty Soul, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, Sleeping with Sirens, a lot of the emo crowds for the I guess the term is elder emos. Yeah. And so you have all of them, and then you have a whole bunch of the newer bands. Let me phrase that. You have the old bands, of course, like Green Day, then you have a bunch of the newer ones of I guess Pierce the Veil could be considered newer-ish. I don't know, but oh yeah, I'm the key demographic.
Okay. How many days did you go over the last 4 days?
I went 3 out of the 4 days. That fourth day, so last year when I did all 4 days, that fourth day was more just for I can prove to myself that I can still do this at 35. That was the basketball player who just came out for one more game. Is I just wanted to see if I can still do this. I can still do this. I don't need to do this anymore. Because by the end of the third day, you're already in a decent amount of pain. The fourth day, you're just dragging yourself for torture. The only reason I went for the fourth day last year was to see Sum 41 in a trade. I've never seen a trade before, and it was most likely going to be Sum 41's last performance. And so this year I looked at it okay, this isn't worth me driving an hour, paying $50 for parking. I've already seen everybody that I've wanted to see. My feet hurt. I'm exhausted. My voice still sounds terrible. I'm just going to make Sunday a rest day.
Like it's from the religion, like the Bible. Yes, and on the seventh day, he rested. That's what that happened. You just said another band name. You didn't even know it. You said something about, what was it? The struggle. You're going through the pain of the struggle. Dude, there were so many bands there with all these different names that when I was walking around, I was coming up with other bands' name, like Pierce the Mom. Or you could do, no, I'm laughing.
Oh, there was a bunch of them. Oh, there was a bunch of those.
I like this idea, the newer bands. Mm-hmm. You have to be in all black. This is very key. Yeah, yes. Even though it's 100 degrees, you got to be in black. Your lead singer has to go up there and drop the F word 4,000 times during the set list. Yeah. Is this correct in this?
Yeah, that sounds about right. What's funny is I remember going for the first few years, and I remember seeing Poppy, and she was literally in this maid's outfit that was just all black, and I just kept thinking that can't be comfortable.
No,
and, I judge people's attire like during performances where I'm just like I guess all of a sudden like I'm the mother, like I'm a 67-year-old mother. I'm like, oh, that can't be comfortable up there.
No,
Oh, she's
no.
gonna be so hot up there.
No, our coworker and friend Rachel here at work,
Mhm.
she met a guy dressed as Art the Clown from
Oh my
Terrifier.
gosh.
You're crazy. So we're just gonna say this.
Yeah.
That heat for the last couple of days, that was some of the worst heat I've ever experienced. Just trying to walk around, it was 100 degrees.
Mhm.
There were people passing out, like, and they
Yeah.
had to get luckily they had EMT people ready to go. It was
Yes.
bad. If the weather was better, would you have gone all 4 days? Would you have done it?
I think I might have actually, just because like that heat was like I've lived in Florida all my life. So like I know heat. That was just unbearable. Like
Yeah.
this is the thing that everybody I talk when I talk to people about Rockville, if I meet North Florida people, they talk about, oh, I wish it came up in Jacksonville. But that's just for a convenience factor.
Mm.
The biggest one is, why is it in May? Why can't it be in like April, March? Why can't it be maybe later in the year when it's a little bit cooler? Because we always deal with heat every year. This was probably the worst heat that I've experienced going to Rockville in the past 4 years. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't want to say like, oh, why can't they do this? Because like I don't want to like almost like I'm a sports pontificator where I'm just like, oh, they could have easily just cut to the lane here and they get an easy basket. But I don't know how like scheduling works with Daytona, but the heat has been a consistent problem every year. And it seems like they when they keep adding, oh, we're add more cooling buses and ways for you to stay cool on Saturday. It's like, okay, what about Thursday and Friday? It was still equally as hot those 2 days. Why are you just now bringing those things out? So yeah, the heat was just absolutely unbearable. It knocked me out for a little bit. I didn't pass out, but on Thursday when we first came in, I was already sweating 20 minutes in,
Mm.
and we missed the Pretty Reckless just because, like, my wife and I were just straight up, like, heat exhausted.
I don't blame you. All right. So originally, the first Rockville in Daytona was supposed to be, I believe, May of 2020. And I did all it's what's so funny. So in January of that year, I did all the paperwork. I was ready to go for giveaways, and it
Mhm.
was going to be Metallica
Ooh.
originally. And I was like, oh man, Metallica, that's gonna be awesome. Pandemic happens.
Mhm.
Then they postponed it until November of 21. And that was the first ever Rockville in Daytona with Metallica and had multiple nights. But I think because of hurricane season, maybe you can't have it. I mean, it was incredible in November. It was. But then remember, the next May of 22, it was supposed to be Guns N' Roses,
Yep.
the one you and me were at. And then the rain was so awful, most days were canceled. But then they
Mhm.
went back 23, 24. I mean, all that stuff. The only one I've not gone to was I think 23 because it was the same weekend as MegaCon. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Nah, I got to go to MegaCon." So
Yep.
I didn't go that year. Have you gone every single year, Chase, to this festival?
I think since Daytona, since it moved to Daytona, I didn't go every year because I obviously missed the Metallica year. I've been going, I think, for the past 4 years now because, yeah, it
Nice.
was the Guns N' Roses, and then I went every year after that.
That's awesome, dude. It really is. What I think about this morning and just being at this Rockville thing and helping out promotions, giveaways, I'm very proud they built this. And I think it's changed. I want to get your thoughts on this. Okay, at first it was like, okay, I hope we get big bands to come. I hope we can make this a big thing. Now I think it's switched. Now I think if you're a big artist, you have to play Rockville. You have it's not, oh, well, you wish you can get us. No, no. If you're a legit band, you have to play Rockville. And I don't know if you saw the stat, the biggest rock festival in North America. 220,000 people showed up, including Chase and
Jeez.
his wife. 220, buddy. So, do you feel like it's now legit and you're a band, you have to play this concert?
I didn't know. So when I saw that stat or that tagline where it said the largest rock concert, 'cause I was working on a story for WOKV.com about like, hey, what what to know before you head out there, and I wanted to use that line, but like, is that statistically true? I don't know. But now, like after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, it's probably true. It. I think it's definitely one of the best rock venues to perform in, because when you see bands start pulling out all the stops, when you're Shinedown and you start pulling out Leonard Skinner to perform Simple Man, or bringing in other guests like Disturbed 2 years ago brought out Ann Wilson,
Yeah.
like you, I think that's when you start making it as a festival, when bands start pulling all the stops. And I think it's definitely one of those where you have to perform at Rockville. I think it is like the premier hard rock festival. And I think it's safe to say, like, after seeing it grow for all these years from a two stage Jacksonville show to just this mega festival with over 150 bands, you said over 220,000 people attending. You have to be one of the premier events.
Yeah, you really do. It's at that point where, you got Coachella, Lollapalooza, now you got Rockville. And I've decided unintentionally, but it also is intentionally, it's the Florida Man Super Bowl. That's what I'm calling it.
Oh yeah.
MegaCon is the nerd Super Bowl in Florida. This is the Florida Man Super Bowl. It is. If you want to see, like, if you are from up north and you want to see Florida Man in his element, you need to come to Rockville moving forward. You have to. The neck tattoos. And I told this to my mother. I'm sorry to say this. I like the women. They just had duct tape on for their top. It was just duct tape. That's what they were wearing.
Oh no, I saw it. I'm gonna try to make this so you don't get like it. It doesn't get taken down. I straight up just saw a woman just like flat out just topless. Like she just got tired of it and she just took it off and she just walked around. I'm like, no one's gonna complain.
No,
Like no one's gonna say anything. It's like you shouldn't be doing this, but at the same time, like I know the heat and everything. No one's gonna complain about you.
it was bad. And the ironic t-shirts, fantastic. I'll be honest with you. So I kind of feel like, am I still allowed to wear my Blackhawk shirt in public, or is it like, because we're in this weird, if you look at sports, we're in this weird thing of like, okay, you can't wear an Indian shirt. No, they're the Guardians, right?
Guardians, yeah.
The Redskins, no more. They're the Commanders, right? So it's interesting. I start thinking like, are they going to change my Blackhawks? Are we going to be the Indian head anymore? Or are we just going to now be, and I think what they should do is, should they just be an actual bird, a Black Hawk? Should they just switch to that? So what's funny is I'm wearing my red Blackhawk shirt. I had so many people coming up to me. Oh man, Blackhawks, what do you think of the team? We got the third pick in the draft. Everyone, men and women, came up to me. And then I start thinking, I might have the most least offensive shirt at this festival. I'm going to be all right.
To be fair, by the way, he's saying the word hawk, because if you say it quickly, it also sounds like a shirt that people would be wearing at this festival. There's a lot of like horny shirts that I saw that were just like out, like, was it? I stopped for a slang term for breasts and tacos. I love big breasted goth women. A lot of people love goth women, apparently. That's why I learned at this festival as well.
Yes, they did. If you like dark hair on the ladies, this is the place to be at.
And if you like studs, there's a bunch of studs there, both on the clothes and the men, if you know what I'm saying.
I like, if you were like, okay, Joan Rivers Fashion Police, if we're just gonna do this, then I want to okay, here's what I like. So there were people there, you could tell they've been working out for 4 straight months. I'm like, men and women, I'm gonna show off my body, this is gonna be great. But then I respect the people more who did not care one bit. Whatever, this beer gut I've been working on for 5 months, and you're going to see it. That's right. And it's going to be covered with the dumbest tattoos you've ever seen. That's right. And I respect those people even more. That's exactly what I mean.
I felt so, first off, I was about to do the worst Joan Rivers impression ever.
You can't do it.
Can't be. Wait, is it can't do it because I'll get canceled, or I can't do it because no one can impersonate Joan Rivers?
You can't impersonate the GOAT when it comes to fashion police. You can't. But I'm telling you, it was awesome to see. It just the people watching was incredible. Now,
I felt so bad for fat people there because like when you're walking from stage to stage in that heat, they had to have lost at least 20 pounds.
I
Like
think you and me lost 20 pounds as well
probably.
from the walking.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Let's get to Lincoln Park. All
Mhm,
right. I have been thinking about it since Saturday night. I can't get over this.
mhm.
So I knew what I was getting into, Chase, and I want your opinion.
Yeah.
So we know Chester is not with us anymore. He's not.
Yes.
Yeah, and that guy was awesome. He was.
Yes.
But he left this earth a couple years ago. We don't need
Yes.
to get into that.
Yeah.
But they decided last year we're going to have a female singer. We're going to bring this Emily woman on.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because you'd think, oh, we'll just get another male voice. No,
No.
they went with the female voice. So I think everyone there was fascinated to see how this was going to happen, where it's the band, they're playing the songs, but at times it felt like it's a cover band playing. I loved it. I really did. But at the same time, the whole time, I'm like, I wish Chester was here. What was your first reaction when you saw them take the stage?
So it's tough to be in Emily's position, just because, and I kept thinking like, who has done that? Like, who has taken over as the lead singer of a band that's already legendary? The only thing I could probably think of is maybe like, obviously, I guess like 3 Days Grace, when Adam Gontier left, but I think of a higher scale. Is it Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio taking
Yeah.
over after Ozzy? Like that's the closest thing I could think of, and so
Well,
it's a
okay.
very
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry if I cut you off. We're
no,
here
you're
at
fine.
Chase Bunker. So, like, if you look at Van Halen, David Lee Roth left the
Mhm.
band and he's like legendary. But
Yeah,
they had more. What's funny is they made more money and had more success
with Hagar.
with Sammy Hagar with Van Halen. I mean, there's a couple. I like yours with Black Sabbath. That is a good example. So it's been done before.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
So it's obviously a very tough position because you're going to have this band that you and I have known for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, here's the new lead singer. And we do this with everything. We do this with new doctors with Doctor Who. We do this with new characters. And so it's immediately like they're immediately met with like skepticism of, oh, I don't know, you're not this person.
Yeah.
When Somewhere I Belong, which is what they started with, when she started singing that, I was a bit unsure because I thought that was a bit weak. And it could just be her singing style. But afterward, I think it was like one or two songs in, it's just like, oh, okay. No, she could do this. She could. I was thoroughly impressed with her. I thought she did an incredible job. It is a very daunting task. Like, you don't want to be the guy that goes after the guy, to use that
Yeah.
term. I thought she did great. I thought all of her songs were incredible. I love Emptiness Machine. I think it's a fantastic song just in general. And I think her singing the old Chester songs, I think she did a great job. Obviously, like Somewhere I Belong, I thought was a little bit weak, but everything else, I thought she did great. I thought it was a phenomenal performance. I loved it.
I like the Two-Face song with her.
Yes.
I
Two
like
Face
that.
was incredible.
That's a good song as well. All right. The one where I thought she was weak and where it felt like a cover band, the only song for me was the Transformers song. That was the one. It was weird for me. I've heard
Wait,
it
which
so many,
one? A New Divide or What I've Done?
What I've Done. The
Okay.
first one. Yeah, that's I just
Because
start.
New Divide, I thought she did good on New Divide.
Is New Divine? Is that from the second Transformers movie?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
yes, it is.
I remember waking up early to go onto MySpace because they were going to premiere the video there because I loved that song so much. I just
I
wanted to date ourselves here.
No, you're absolutely right. I lasted till about 11:35,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I got to get out of here. So we left, and there was already traffic trying to get out of there. It wasn't that
Mhm.
bad. I missed the encore because I told you a month ago I wanted to hear Paper Cut. They
Mhm.
played it during the encore, but I'm okay. For what I got to do, promoting this for 6 months, getting a go media credential, I
Mhm.
was close to the stage. I thought they were awesome. Lying from You was awesome.
Yep.
Trying to think what else was great.
One Step Closer.
One Step Closer is the original song from them.
Yeah.
like the
Yes.
original from like 2000. I
Mhm.
remember being in college hearing that. Yeah, they were great. Okay, and I'm going to say this.
Yep. Say it.
I'm going to say it.
Say it.
For our generation,
Mhm.
they are the Tim Duncan of rock bands. Where I don't think they're overall top 5 great, but they're a Hall of Fame band. They're Hall of Fame level. They're consistently having good songs. They're good. Like when I compare them to, let's say, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses is a more iconic band where their 4 or 5 songs are all-time generational. Everyone knows them. Everyone loves them. Linkin Park songs will never be as famous. Look on your face. Look on your face. You got something to chime in. Their songs are good, and they have a lot of good hits. Linkin Park. They were like, when you look at their catalog, they have more hit songs than Guns N' Roses when you think about it in theory. And I love all their songs and all their lyrics. They're like a Tim Duncan. Every year, 50 wins. We're going deep in the playoffs. We're going to win some titles, but we'll never be regarded as great as like a Guns N' Roses type thing. Again, even though they have more hit songs than a lot of these other iconic bands, they're a good band, all-timer, Hall of Famer, but they're not in the upper echelon. That's how I look at it. And I love Linkin Park. That's
Mhm.
how I rank them. How about you?
So first off, I think the first thing I kind of took umbrage to was Tim Duncan's not top 5 all time. I think
No.
I view Tim Duncan as top 5. I thought he had a very quiet but very successful career. Should have had more rings if it wasn't for that blown lead in game 6. But that's neither here nor there. We could do that during your next Spurs discussion next week. Um, it's funny you mentioned that, like, that they have good songs, but they're not like transcendental. And I think that comes with time. I think you have to look at in the end as that's going to be probably a transcendental song. I think that's going to stand the test of time. Crawling, a lot of Hybrid Theory, just in general. Hybrid Theory is just like the classic album for like our age, essentially.
Yes.
Like that is our Use Your Illusion, to use Guns N' Roses to bring that back. I think a lot of their early stuff is strong with that Meteora, but like a lot of people kind of steered away a little bit. That's when they came more mainstream because they were always asking for be heavier. We want more heavy again. Um, I definitely think that they are. I think they are an all-time band. Like I think you don't have the largest crowd in Rockville history and not be a top 5 like millennial band of all
Oh,
time.
okay. Here's what we need to do that you're throwing this out there, this
Yeah.
haymaker of a question. We need to go do research, and
Mhm,
then you need to come back on and
mhm.
we'll do top 5 millennial bands. Don't do it now. We need to do research on this, Chase, and then you come back and we'll discuss
Okay.
this. But look, Tim Duncan, he is one of the great players of all time.
Mhm.
He's not top 5 in my list for basketball. He's not. Now, I know we're all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln Park, I think they're fantastic, and
Yeah.
I love seeing them. The part that it kind of it's about suicide, where okay, he died. Now what do we do? And he's such a vital point to the band. Like just his voice is so unique. What do we do now? And there's so many bands from our youth with Nirvana, Alice in Chains, now and Stone Temple Pilots. I love Scott Weiland. It's like they can't move on because they're the voice of the band.
Mhm.
So I go back and forth where it's like, should you move on? And I'm like, yeah, you died, right? But everyone else has to move on. And I know it's very controversial to say, but I'm happy what Lincoln Park did. I am. It'll
Mhm.
never replace Chester, but I'm happy that I got to see them. And I'm happy that they're going to tour moving forward and make new music. They should. It's the right thing to do. And I
Mhm.
know there's going to be haters and they're going to hate my thoughts on this, but I'm happy that I saw them. I got that opportunity and they
Yeah.
moved. So thank you, Lincoln Park, for doing that.
Yeah, and like what's funny is like even with as you mentioned Alice in Chains, like when they got a new lead singer, they got a lead singer that sounded a lot like Lane Stanley. And so you could have probably brought in someone that sounded remotely like Chester, but They instead took it in a different direction. I still think it's a really good direction. I think their new album is really good. My wife and I have been listening to it on repeat pretty much since its release. Like, it's a really solid album. And so, yeah, like, I think what was it? I remember talking with the lead singer of Hawthorne Heights about
Oh,
when a
oh,
member when
look
a
at
member
you, name dropping.
I
Oh,
know. I
Ohio.
know.
What is their big song? Ohio's for lovers, or what
Ohio's
is
for Lovers and Nikki FM saying sorry and all
nice?
that. They were there Sunday, and I that was a band I wish I would have gone if I actually like had the energy. Um, and it was just about because one of their members, their guitarist, died in 2007, and so I'm like, how soon do you start in the morning process talking about your band? Because it's weird. It's like my friend's dead. What about work? And so I'm wondering, like, one thing I'd like to know, like maybe talking with like Mike Shinoda in the future at some point, like when do you start thinking about the band and like do you stop the morning process and go, okay, we have to start thinking like what's best for us now? And I guess like for them, they probably could have just lived off royalties for the rest of their lives just because of how successful Linkin Park really is. But I'm glad to see that they're back on the road. I'm glad to see that they're making music and that they brought in somebody. And I think they made a really great choice with their new lead singer.
It reminds me. So when Nirvana got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what they did was they had multiple female singers come out and perform the songs as part of the performance, which I thought was awesome,
Yeah.
including one of my favorites, St. Vincent. Like that was cool. And the other part I was going to tell you, and I wrote down all these different notes.
Hmm.
So when you're at Rockville,
Hmm.
you see some bands who are talented. Then as the day goes on into the night, then you see more talented people and more talented people.
Yeah.
And you just have to take a moment and breathe and be like, yeah, these people like really are great performers. And this gets lost in it. They actually wrote those songs. I know that's stupid to say, like, holy macaroni. Because we've all been you're at a dive bar, you're at a pool hall,
Hmm.
you're at some like local concert, and I live here in Brevard County, the home of cover bands. Okay,
Yep.
I'm sorry to say that.
Oh,
So
I know. Remember, I lived in Melbourne for 20 plus years. I am very much aware of the cover band scene there.
yeah, so you'll see someone play a song. It's a cover band,
Hmm.
and then when you actually see the real band play that song, you're just like, wow, well, you can't believe it. I'll give you an example. I was at the King Center in Melbourne,
Hmm.
and I saw the Beach Boys perform. That was It was surreal. Those songs are so iconic in everyday life where you see them in movies, TV, commercials, the radio, you're at a bar. They're so iconic. When I saw them, it did not feel real to me. I'm not even a big Beach Boys fan. Did not feel real. Seeing Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones last year in Orlando, like that guy is the GOAT.
Hmm.
Every rock band, every lead singer is based on Mick Jagger. That idea is so he was the GOAT, seeing
Yeah.
him. Um, Linkin Park, they were fantastic. And they're writing. I'm getting it all out there, Chase. Okay. You're
Oh,
letting me
get it all out there. Get it all out there.
their lyrics, it reminds me of Stephen King from the standpoint of not horror.
Mhm.
They're very catchy and they're easy. Like Stephen King's writing style, he's not the greatest writer. Like if it's not like when you're reading the New York Times and they're using every adjective they're looking up in the dictionary.
Mhm.
Linkin Park has very basic lyrics, but you remember they're easy to follow. You understand it, and you just pick it. And I knew, dude. I don't know about you. I know all the lyrics to every Linkin Park song. Are you like that as well?
I don't know all like there's definitely some that like will like skip through my mind, but like it's funny is when you hear certain like trigger words, you fill it in with Linkin Park songs. Like how many times have you heard, "Oh yeah, I tried so hard." And then immediately you
Like,
think and gone so far and like immediately you just start singing that. Like that's the funny thing. Like I think that they are very talented writers. I think they also have very catchy lyrics as well. Like one of the lines I really love was from Emptiness Machines, like rolling around like a revolver. And it's just like, oh, that's
yeah,
catchy. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. But I really went there not for Linkin Park.
Mhm.
And we're here with Chase Bunker reviewing our thoughts. Yes, our official review of Rockville. I went there to see Incubus. That was when I looked at the 4-day set. I was like, Incubus, the one band I've been listening to since I was 16. I bought my first album from them when I was a junior in high school. Okay, 98, 99, buddy. That was incredible. They could have been a headliner. Their performance should have been longer. I know I'm around the same age as those guys. I loved it. And Brandon Boyd, good Lord, that guy, let me tell you, not only is he talented and good looking, he knows what he's doing with the ladies in the audience. So he comes out with a Snoopy shirt, an ironic Snoopy shirt, which is cut up. Then what he did was, as the concert kept going with their set list, more of the shirt came off. And then by the final, when he did Drive, the shirt is completely up. This guy knows how to look. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, he does. Incubus, so it's funny about Incubus was that, Incubus came just after everybody's excited from I Prevail, Hollywood Undead, and everyone's all amped up. And so Incubus instead, which has a very active, past catalog, they have some, really good songs that, you can kind of, jump around to, and even some of their newer stuff as well. They just went straight mellow. And you know what?
Yes.
It's normally not what I would want at a rock concert, but it was what I needed. It was, I'm going to lay in the grass. I'm just going to kind of mellow out for a little bit. And it was just fantastic. I loved it. And I also liked hearing, Megalomaniac, Animali as well. Yeah, I thought those are both I would want to jump up, but then okay, I'm gonna lay back down on the grass now. All right, let's listen to Warning. And
Warning was incredible. Warning
was great. I'm not even a fan of the song, but that made me a fan of that song.
I turned to MJ. I've been listening to the Morning View. I've been listening to that album. I bought that at college at Western Illinois University. I think I bought it at the Phoenix. That's what we call the record store. So it was in the square. I bought it there. That whole album I would listen to nonstop. And I turned to MJ, my coworker and friend, by the way. I turned to her. I go, when they played Warning, I yelled at her. That's about him hooking up with an older woman. That's all. I know. Been there. So love that song. Pardon Me was, you talk about lyrics. Pardon me while I burst into flames. I I know we're fanboys now. Amazing. And Wish You Were Here. Nice to Know Ya.
Yep.
It was incredible. They could have been a headliner one of those nights, and I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine.
Their headliners this year were just so strong, though. Every headliner this year had just a show-stopping performance. I thought Green Day was fantastic. Obviously, we talked about Linkin Park. I'm not even the biggest Green Day fan, but they just went rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. They just played every song, and they barely stopped for an interlude. They were absolutely phenomenal. Shinedown. I've seen Shinedown 3.5 times. That halftime was that Rained Out Rockville with Guns N' Roses.
So I saw Shinedown then. Yes. I heard them.
That half performance. Remember when we came back and then we were like, oh, hey, we're going to go and see In Flames and Shinedown. And then, they just cut it off midway through. All right, great. Well, that sucks. But Shinedown this year. Shinedown's a band that I will always say, if you like just performances, I think regardless if you like the genre, I say go see the Struts, go see Muse, and go see Shinedown. This was the best Shinedown performance I have seen of theirs. It was phenomenal. It was it stuck with me all throughout the festival. It's I don't know how you're going to top that. Green Day was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't think it topped it.
What was your favorite day being there?
Thursday and Saturday, I think, were my two favorites. And I don't know which one I would do because, Shinedown was great. I almost want to say Thursday just because, I wasn't also, hating the heat as much, but
you didn't have 3 days of pain on your body.
Yeah, I think that's also the thing. So, Finger 11 was Thursday, and
Oh, that's your band.
that's my
You
yeah. Those
Yeah, you saw that's awesome, dude. You got to
Yeah.
see them.
So I got to see them. I was worried because for like the past few years, there would always be like a 2 o'clock band that I'd really want to see. Last year it was Cold. The year before that was Bloodywood. And I would get there at about 12, but getting through parking would get me to like be about 2 hours and I ended up missing the band. And so I made sure to get there like uber early. And I got there and I saw them. They were absolutely fantastic. I got there just in time to hear Smile Empty Souls sing
Oh,
Bottom of the Bottle. That was
oh,
it. I just heard that one song, like, that's all I needed to hear anyway. And then I went to see Pretty Wild, who were really good. I think that was another underrated thing. Like, go check them out. Um, but Finger Eleven was great. Who else was there that Thursday? I have the whole list still saved.
was Rob Zombie there on
Rob
Thursday?
Zombie was there. I didn't see Rob Zombie. I
He's
ended up seeing
awesome.
I saw him before. I went and saw Bullet for My Valentine. Rob Zombie cut his set short, by the way. So Rob Zombie was supposed to end after Bullet for My Valentine because they started roughly around the same time. And I look over and like they're done, and Bullet for My Valentine still is playing like two more songs. Bullet for My Valentine did the 20th anniversary of their album The Poison, which came out in 2005, which, by the way, that is a sign that you're getting old. When you remember an album coming out and then you go to the 20th anniversary tour, which
Dude,
also somebody proceeded to tell me that my graduating class of Palm Bay High is now 18 years old. Like, it has been 18 years since we graduated Palm Bay High. And I'm like, I don't like your tone. Secondly, I didn't need to
I like
hear
it.
that.
Dude, when I was in high school, one of our buddies in our class was the first person to get a CD burner on his computer.
Ooh,
So this was like,
game changer.
yeah, I think this was 98. So he's like, oh man, I could like copy all these CDs. And then he's like trying to sell them to everyone. Like, I could be a business. Oh man, they got shut down very quickly at my school. But that was big. So I think about that moment. I think about when I went to college in the fall of 2000. Just remember, at the time, everyone just had 56K dial up. So Napster came out when I was a senior in high school. When we got to the dorms, we all had high speed internet. What? And then we're like, I was sitting there. I'm sorry I have to say this. I hope my parents don't hear this. We were sitting there in the dorms downloading thousands of songs to that computer. All right. This is before iTunes. So when I hear a lot of these bands, I think about those times in high school and college and all the piracy we were into.
Oh yeah. The LimeWire, Kazaa, iMesh era where we all just downloaded it was the new mixtape essentially. Like
Yes.
we didn't have the mixtape, we just had the mixed CD. I always called my CDs now. Now that's what Chase calls music. 1, 2. And I can tell you the songs on every single one of them. And I remember I was dating a girl and she was going through my CD book and she's like, "Oh, I guess you're a fan of the Now franchise." Like, no, that's just what I call them.
That's the now what Chase likes. 20.
Exactly. And I could go down the list. I could tell you which ones. Like, oh, that starts with Chevelle. It leads into Beastie Boys, which leads into Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack. Like that's what, and it just goes bam, 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 bam.
We had so in college we'd start to get this before the iPod. So you had like a Memorex 32 meg MP3 player. So it was like a CD. You could put like 12, 14 songs on there. Oh man, that was in my pocket. I would walk to class. I love that thing. And I'd put like Yin Yang Twins and Usher on there. Oh man, that'd get me hyped. Exactly what it would be. So my problem with Saturday night was, and we're here at Rockville. Okay, you can't do I Prevail, then Incubus, then Pierce the Veil, then Linkin Park. I feel bad for Pierce the Veil because I think by 9:45 at night, most of the crowd's like, just get to Linkin Park already. Okay, please. And I know you liked Pierce the Veil. I know you did. But most people were like, get this out of here. Get me Linkin Park. Give me your rebuttal on this.
So I will say this. I'm not like the biggest Pierce the Veil fan. I like one song and I love the hell out of that song.
What's the song?
Pink for a Day with Kellen Quinn. Like that. What's funny is like, so my wife's a big Linkin Park fan. So we watched them on the simulcast over on the Apex stage where Linkin Park was going to play. So we got better seats so we just watched instead. I wish I was kind of in the pit to hear like all the amplifiers and all that during King for a Day, which by the way, if I could come to your karaoke for a cure event at the end of the month, I would totally sing both vocals of King for a Day, both screaming and the high pitch, because I can hit both. I still got it.
Should I
But
bring you with like an iPad? Should I like bring one and then like you come up to the microphone with the iPad and you sing that way? Should we do that?
what I think I might do is I might just record a video of it, and that way, because there's gonna be latency issues. There's gonna be latency issues.
There will be. It'll
And
be
so
awesome.
it's just gonna be so offbeat and off key. And so I'm like, nah, I can't be doing this. And so
Well, thank you for thinking about it. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
So
buddy.
I wanted to see that, but I think yeah, I felt bad like that. I felt bad just in general for Rockville, just because of the fact that their bookers had to go work overtime between Three Doors Down having to cancel due to Brad Arnold, which that was a big thing for Thursday, which made it really cool as well. And then Alice in Chains having to back out, bring in Social Distortion, and then I Prevailed literally the day of the show, or no, that Friday announced they're parting ways with one of their lead singers. And so I'm just like, all right, what am I going to get with I Prevail? I know it's a good show, but I've seen them with Hailstorm, and they were so much better then, but they did good for what they had. So, yeah, it's definitely Incubus is. That's why I say Incubus was the set we needed, because we had heavy, amp, heavy,
mellow,
then heavy.
Yeah, you're not kidding around. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. I love going to it. Mm-hmm. I had a good time. Sunday, I was Hollywood Undead on my couch, where I literally, I'm not kidding around. I got up, posted all the videos, all the photos. I did that. Then I had to return the truck to the office, went to the grocery store, got food, stopped by GameStop, found a copy of Ultimate I'm sorry, I got to make sure I say it right. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I had to buy it.
No, that's understandable.
I bought that. Then went home, ate food, passed out for another 3 hours. I finally felt better about 7:00 last night. That's what happened.
I think my father-in-law was in town, and so we ended up making tacos. I had a margarita, and I immediately started feeling a lot better because tequila is my lady. So speaking of Hollywood Undead, did you watch Hollywood Undead?
Yes. I'm not a fan. I think they're okay. You must love. I'm not into it.
So I saw them at the same show with I Prevail and Hailstorm back in August. And I saw them again this year. I thought they were so much better this year, even though they didn't play the song, one of the songs I love. They're a band that I think gets misunderstood because they're very like bro party rock, but at the same time, like they don't take themselves seriously. So they hear like the lyrics and they think that these are just a bunch of misogynists, and then they clearly like you see them live, like, oh no, they're just playing around having fun. And I thought they were just like, I was amped. Oh, I loved it. Oh, they were so good live. They've just brought all the energy. When they brought the kid up on stage, like I thought, because they did that in August, like, oh, they just have a plant then. And then they bring on somebody else, like, oh, this is just their set now. And I thought they're phenomenal. If you like hard rock, if you even like think the song Undead is just good, just go see them. They're great.
Let's end with this. And I know we've gone 43 minutes on this, on Rockville.
Not enough time.
All right. First off, a slice of pizza was $15.
You went to the wrong one. There was a slice over by Octane Stage that was 11. And I think it's the same people too.
Oh, so I'm more in the bougie area.
Apparently.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So if I could do the math, if my third grade teacher, she will be proud of me on this. Okay. So it's $15 a slice. Usually a pizza pie has 8 slices. 8 times 15 is $120. I got the chicken bowl instead, where it was chicken teriyaki, broccoli, and a giant thing of white rice for $20. I thought in the heat that was a smarter move to do than the $15 pizza. What did you buy and how much did it cost?
So
you went 3 days.
I had 3 days. So what we did, so we had this strategy. First off, we went to this Jacksonville food truck called Guavabana. It was just they sold the ice pops and they sold smoothies. Practically saved our lives essentially
Yeah.
because like to help us keep cool because it was again, I don't know if you just in case you didn't know, it was hot.
Yeah.
And so we did that. We did the $11 slice of pizza one day. We got these garlic knot sliders from this like food truck over in the back. That was really good. So we ended up having that for both days. We didn't feast. We ate to get by up
Yes.
until the end of the show, and then we went to the unofficial Rockville after party, which was of course the Bucky's over by the Tanger Outlets. And so I would always get like a Texas cheesesteak burrito, or I'd get like a pulled pork sandwich, and yeah, everybody just went there just to kind of like feast afterward.
I can't believe. So you live in Jacksonville, the city,
Yes.
and what's it take you, an hour to
Yeah.
get to Daytona?
Mhm.
My God. So you did that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You drove 1 hour back. You did that 6 times then
Yeah.
in 3 days.
I'm getting home at about 2:30 every night.
Oh,
And so Friday was tough because it was like the initial just like after going hard Thursday. It's like, all right, we ended up we were gonna try to get there early to go see a few bands. We wanted to see Dorothy and we missed out on that. So we came in later just because we needed the energy. Saturday was tough just because we have to wake up early still because again, we're getting home at 2:30 and
I
having a
don't know.
shower and
I don't know how you did. I don't know. I know your wife. You guys must have like rotated who's driving because
no.
no, all you. Oh, you're a real man. You are a real man. All right, here are my thoughts.
Mhm.
I would like to see. I don't care if the hardcore rock guy thinks I'm lame. I want to see the yeahs. I want to see them at Rockville. I want to see them. I want to see Jack White, or if he's going to be the White Stripes. I think people will be losing their minds if they played Seven Nation Army at Rockville. I think that'd be awesome. Um, I'm trying to think if there's another, like Guns N' Roses needs to come back
Mhm.
and finish it because they never actually performed. I think those are my kind of top three. What about you, bands? Because a lot of the bands you want to see have been there, but is there
Yeah.
someone like AC/DC? I know they were in Tampa Friday night. That would look, if AC/DC was there, just forget the 220,000. Just forget it. It'd be 300,000.
Mhm.
Everyone would be. Who are there any bands that you're like, I need to see them there at Rockville?
Uh Sleep Token, I would want to see there. I saw a lot of Sleep Token shirts. I saw more shirts for Sleep Token, a band that wasn't there, than
I-
shirts for like bands that were there. And I thought that was kind of crazy as well. Um, that's tough. I
Sleep
think,
Token, dude.
yeah.
We need to play a game. We're
Mhm.
gonna play a new game. Is this a real band or did Mark and Chase make this up? Sleep. If you ask people on the street, is Sleep Token a real band name? I bet you most people would say no, that's made up. I'm not
Well,
kidding around.
I think if you ask, you'd have to ask the older generation
Yes.
because like they're one of like the biggest bands right now. I would love to see Sleep Token there. I want to see. I'm trying to think of bands that like I haven't seen because
Who-
obviously I would want to see like the Struts again, Blood for My Valentine, Finger 11, obviously. I would love to see Billy Talent there. I think Billy
Oh,
Talent would actually be a lot of fun there.
yeah.
Um,
Thursday. I love that band.
Thursday would be good.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Beartooth.
Ghost.
Beartooth was a real band name. And
Yes.
you can add that. Is that real or did I make that up?
Yep.
Beartooth. All right. What was the other one you were gonna say?
Ghost. I would love to see Ghost
Oh,
there. I think
yeah.
Ghost would put on a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Um, I think Rockville is so big to where like they may like introduce a new character, like because like for those who are unfamiliar, Ghost kind of has like this like theme, like it's like kind of borderline religious theme, like story that they play out, and so every so often they'll kill off or they'll like leave the new character, one character behind, introduce the lead singer as a new character. So just to provide some context there.
Mm.
Guns N' Roses, I think it's a solid choice. I think Guns N' Roses is going to be the band that we're just going to forever talk about until it actually happens. And I think a lot of people are just like, all right, I want Guns N' Roses just to get shut up about this.
Okay. Okay. I got one.
Okay.
Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh, I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that would be gigantic. And that would be, I think that's one of those bands where it's like no one's moving. And I mean, from if you've never been to Rockville, so one band plays, they end, then the next stage. So everyone, it's like World War Z, where everyone runs to get to the other stage.
Mhm.
If it was Rage, I don't think anyone would leave their spot and they would just sit there waiting an hour for Rage to come back. You're looking at the list now.
I'm
You're
looking at like bands that I haven't thought of. I haven't been thinking
Rage.
about. Obviously, I'd want to see Electric Callboy come back. Oh, Ice Nine Kills, I think would be really good.
I think they're with Metallica.
They're with Metallica right now, and
Are we going to that in Tampa? Do we have to go?
I'm thinking about that actually. Like
I
I
want to
might
go.
go because it's Ice Nine Kills and Limp Bizkit, which by the way, Limp Bizkit fantastic live, and then of
Yes.
course you have Metallica, which is just Metallica.
All right, so we're going Friday night. We have to go to that show.
I'm definitely gonna try to.
Will you dress as Art the Clown for Ice Nine Kills?
No, I don't have that. Actually, wait a minute. Hold on. So I have a friend of mine who I'm not. This isn't a name drop at all. Like I legitimately know this guy because we
It
used to work at
is.
the movie theater together.
It is a name drop.
Well, he worked on Terrifier in 2 and 3, and he has cosplayed as Art the Clown at events. I don't know how I'm gonna get the costume. If I could get that costume, I would. But
To wear to Metallica?
that's the thing is like you can't wear that in Metallica.
No,
Like
no, you
that,
can't.
it's a massive disrespect to Metallica just because like everybody. Could you imagine being the guy and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for Limp Bizkit. Oh, I'm here for Ice Nine Kills
And then
at
you
a
leave.
Metallica show." Like
And you
I've
leave.
done that a few times where like I've gone to like the Dragon Force show where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for Nano War of Steel." And that's just another band name that we can play. Is this a real band or not? By the way, Nano War of Steel, fantastic. They literally assembled a IKEA table during their performance.
I said this at the top. I'll end with this. You are the key demographic for Rockville.
Yep.
You know all these. You are the one man. Like, who's this band? So we were at the media tent. Next year, you're coming with me to the media area.
Okay.
So we need you because MJ and I are back there. All these bands are there. They're just sitting around, like eating something. You should have been there with us because you're like, oh yeah, that's that band. Oh, that's that guy. You would have known everyone, right?
Yeah.
I need you as the interpreter. It's like at MegaCon. I tell the older audience, if you don't know what the cosplay is, it's anime. That's my answer every time. Okay. You went Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You slept and had a margarita yesterday. So today is your day off and you go back to work tomorrow. Correct?
Yes. I need a 2-day voice recovery because you remember last year, and I don't know if you have that that audio still up of me that first day. I sounded awful. And I thought I was going to be like that again because like after Thursday, like my voice started cracking midway through Bullet for My Valentine. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm not going to last. And like I went and saw Kill Switch Engage. And, my voice started cracking during End of Heartache and Holy Diver. It's like, oh no, this isn't going to last. And of course, I had to scream during I Prevail. And so my voice was shot after that.
Is it wrong that during Incubus, when he starts playing Wish You Were Here, I start thinking about all my ex-girlfriends? Is that wrong? And then the follow-up to that is the song's 3.5 minutes and I have too many girlfriends. Is that the real?
Whoa. Playboy Mark Moses over here. If you're just tuning in, Playboy Mark Moses joins us now on the Mark Moses Show.
So like Playboy Cardi, that's my rap name. Playboy Mark Moses. That's what
Playboy
it is.
Mark Moses. I mean,
how can we follow you with I know you do your podcast. You're a great news anchor and reporter. How can we follow you, Chase?
You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Bunker. You could also check out WOKV.com where I do stories. I also post interviews. You can also check out That Game Show on YouTube, youtube.com/That Game Show. If you type in That Game Show onto YouTube, you get a whole bunch of Family Feud clips. And I can tell you, I am not Steve Harvey, believe it or not.
What?
And yeah, I know. And then
I like you said you do stories. I do stories.
Well, no, I write. They want me writing more, and I get general anxiety just writing, and so I hate writing. All my teachers and professors can attest to this. and they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this." I'm like, "I'm better at speaking."
No, you could write. No, you could do it. I'll help you. Me and Chat GPT will make it happen. Don't worry. Chase,
Ah,
thank you so much for giving your official review. I enjoyed this conversation. And I know later today, when you're driving home, you're going to think, Mark's a jerk calling Linkin Park the Tim Duncan of bands.
Tim Duncan bands. That's just like, no, I don't know what I hate worse. It's just that you said they're the Tim Duncan of bands and then saying Tim Duncan's not top 5. Because I feel like we could just have a whole nother hour of just like whether or not Tim Duncan's top 5.
I love Tim Duncan. I love that guy. I think he's awesome, and I think he's underappreciated. He's not top 5. He's not when it comes to basketball. Jordan.
Okay.
Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I'd go Larry Bird, and then here's the other two. I'd go LeBron, and then maybe I go Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Those 5 right there. That's what I go with. Now, look, there's 75, 100 great players. I don't think Kobe's top 5. And then the Laker fans are going to punch me out. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I just, those are, all right. Here's what you need to do.
Okay.
Come up with your top 5 greatest players of all time.
Okay.
And then, also your top 5 millennial bands. And then come on in about 2 weeks and we'll recap.
Okay.
We'll go over it. All right. Chase Bunker, my man, thanks for your help and have a great day.
Thanks for having me on, Mark, as always.